Hello everyone, this is Vintage Card Voyage. I'm Ken.
This is Marc.
And we're here for another episode talking about a interesting topic that we teased last time.
Yes.
So both of us were collectors in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And both of us would go to 7-Eleven
Yes.
often.
Yes.
So if you're like us, you're big sports fans and collectors, you probably collected some of these. I certainly did. I love them. I did not keep them.
Yes, I did.
You did.
You're seeing my collection right now. Yes, I even bought these binder pages back in the 80s with, like, I think that were aimed at coin collectors probably, and so used them for these Slurpee coins or discs. I don't know. Some people call them discs, other coins. But as you can see, I drank a lot of Slurpees when I was a child.
Did you have a favorite flavor?
That's a great question. I feel like at that point they only had two flavors. I think it was Coke and strawberry.
Yeah.
And then you could mix.
Right.
Possibly, which probably is a horrible idea, but I think I probably tended toward strawberry. Though I would, when I get big gulps, I would probably get Coke, and so it was kind of like I was already getting my Coke fix, and so I would get strawberry.
I was a Coke Slurpee fan, and still am to this day.
Yeah.
Even when my kids were small and we'd get a Slurpee, I would get them a Coke Slurpee just because I think it's a special treat.
Yeah.
But I also remember that back in the 80s, didn't Cherry Coke come out?
That's possible. Yeah.
I think that came out because I had a friend who just was really into Cherry Coke, and he would buy the Cherry Coke all the time.
That was the New Coke era too. 85, I think, was like New Coke or something.
They were innovating quite a bit with flavors.
Yes.
Anyways, these bring back great memories. I think they were regionalized, right?
Yeah, there was. So I think it was like I read this on. I believe I want to say it was called waxpackhero.com. I believe was the website, and I think they may have a YouTube channel as well. Anyway, so I think they started in '83. I believe the Slurpee coin specifically started in LA. They had I think just Dodgers and Angels, I think, at that point. And then '84 it broadened to 3 different regions. I think it was West, Central, and East, I want to say. And then in '85, I think it went out to 5 different regions.
Wow.
I think, and then also '86. And they mentioned, the website mentioned I think it was '86, where they had they brought in some of the coins had 3s.
Yeah.
Most of them had 3 players on it.
And you have some of those.
I have, yeah. There's a fair amount of these ones in the back on the top of the 3. It's hard to see, obviously, because you have to move it around.
Yeah.
But that year they also had Gooden was the only guy who had his own coin because of his amazing '85 season. And then I think I bought until '86 and then kind of stopped, I think, for a while, maybe '87. And then I randomly looked and got hey, I got some '91 here for some reason.
So they ran it all the way to, I think, '92.
That's possible,
Because
yeah.
last week after we talked about it, I dived into eBay. I bought a few for myself. Expos and Rams cards.
Right.
Or coins.
Yeah.
We should say they had football and baseball, but they didn't do basketball, right?
Not that I'm aware of, at least, no. And they also had a special in '85, they had a special one specifically for the Tigers, the '84, the
'84 World
Series. And I only got these because having grown up, being born in Detroit, I went back to visit family, and one of my cousins is a huge collector, and he got me these, I believe.
Yeah, and they didn't do World Series champs the other years, though, right?
It was just
Tigers.
For this one reason. Yeah, I don't know idea why.
It's really interesting how they make their decisions about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking through your coins, one of the things that I was struck by was they had a Warren Moon football card when he was with the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me that they would make that decision, because even Topps football back in the day, they didn't make it any Canadian football.
So question, was it actually the Oilers or was it the Eskimos?
Oh, I think it's Eskimos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oilers is
the
the hockey team. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? It was just, I mean, like, and also we were going to talk too about. I know they had the rock and roll coins as well.
And I bought one here,
Ken happens to have,
which
yes.
actually, now that I look at it, it's slightly bigger in size.
And it was thinner, I think, too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I think you said it's a sticker.
I think it's a sticker. I don't remember. Like I had a bunch of those too when I was a kid. I think I had probably like 20 or so, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
And I think those ones completely were like falling apart when I went back to Hawaii a few years ago. Went to my through my childhood collection. So that's why I threw them out.
But if you're a big rock fan, they had Police, Rush,
Loverboy, Billy Squier, I think.
Bryan Adams.
Yeah, Bryan Adams. I'm trying to remember if they had any like more pop-ish ones. I don't know if they did. I'm blanking on it. That'd be like prime like Cyndi Lauper kind of period or something. But I don't think that happened.
I don't think they had a Madonna one.
Madonna, yeah, exactly.
That'd be a real collector's item.
Michael Jackson's, anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think they had that.
Yeah,
I think we couldn't get a license for it.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, it was more like the hair metal bands at that point, I think.
But if you're into music, this is a great trip down memory lane. I don't think there's that many of them, too.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably had a lot of duplicates. I'm guessing there were probably some in the neighborhood of 10 to 15, maybe a little more.
That's what it looked like when I went online. Whereas for baseball back in the day, there's a lot of coins if you want to do each region.
Right. So yeah, I was talking off camera with Ken about how I think what the Wax Pack Hero website had said, it was like each of the regions had like the same first like 6 or 8 players, and then they regionalized the rest of the series. And I think there were about 16 total, I think, per region, something like that.
Yeah.
So across all of them, there's like 60 to 70 players.
So I think that would be pretty challenging to collect.
Yeah.
Unless you find a collector who's selling the whole set.
I saw something on eBay, I think it was last night I was looking, there was like, I think it's $500 for like all of the Slurpee coins or something. I don't know if it was all football and baseball or like just baseball. I'm not exactly sure.
A master set. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And this brings up a different topic, which is what other things did you collect that weren't just baseball cards? I know for me, I was big into Kellogg's.
Right. Yeah. From the different cereal or whatever.
Yeah, and that I think for baseball started in 1970 and goes all the way to like 83 or something like that. So
yeah.
Quite a few sets.
I think I have the 81 set, and I'm pretty sure I ordered it or like bought it. Like I think I ordered it over the mail. Like I didn't buy enough cereal to get like all this, the sets or whatever.
I was clearly not informed because I was just buying boxes of cereals to get one at a time. Usually they were not in great situation. They were like warped or cracked.
Right.
So even to this day, you'll see if you go to eBay, you can buy just about all of them.
That's actually a question for me. Knowing that you grew up in Michigan, like with all like Battle Creek, was where they produced a lot of the cereals, right? And so like, could you go there to like this, to the stores, not the stores, but like the corporate offices or whatever? I'm wondering.
That would have been a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing no.
Mm-hmm.
But you could imagine if a food company did something like that now, collectors certainly would be knocking on the door.
Yeah. Like, so I also bought, I was talking to Ken about this, the Ralston Purina and Tops, they combined with I think it was, I don't remember it was cereals maybe, I think, also. There are also then the Quaker ones and the granola bars.
Yeah.
I got those. And then, Kraft macaroni.
Oh, I don't know those.
There was the little Kraft box. They had you had to cut them out of the Kraft box, actually. And I have like a Mattingly 85, I think, from that year, and a few others that I cut out. And then I'm thinking milk. There was I think milk containers had cards on them. Also, I cut out. And I'm trying, Metal Gold, I think, had them. I don't know if they had what the Metal Gold in Michigan was. But it was a Hawaii thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing Hostess cakes, and I would sit down. I would actually sit in the aisle by those cakes, and look at all the panels at the bottom, and then wait for my mom to get to that section and say, "This is the one I wanted."
Yeah.
Of course, I would always be looking for Expos, And she would always say, put the boxes back in the right shape. But I would look at the bottom of the panels to look at it, and that was fun.
We did not have Hostess in the household. That was a choice I made by my parents. So yeah, unfortunately,
it was not a regular thing.
Yeah.
I in my memory, it would show up in the store like 1 month in the summer or something like that. Same thing with Kellogg's. I mean, I'd race the aisle just to see if they still had the cards in the boxes, and it would come and go. And just a really interesting time to collect back then. I mean, and clearly we had bitten the bug, because it's not just the packs in stores, but we were collecting other things. And this brings back great memories, because I did collect a lot of these discs.
Yeah, and I'm also realizing too, like Wheaties, like the Michael Jordan posters. At that point, I have all those.
I do have those too.
So this is a lot of fun. Obviously, it's destructive for my health that I have drank so much of this over time. I've got to the other side of on things. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, this is also obviously this came after the Kellogg's, obviously, the kind of like I don't know how you want to call it. With the technology.
I know that sometimes they call it xenograph, which may be the technology that I always thought of it as 3D.
Right.
But you just change the angle that you're looking at the disc in this case, and the picture changes. It's two pictures. It's a face shot and then an action shot. Mm-hmm. They innovated and went to 3 panels, and that's why they have the baseball superstars set has 3 different players.
Right.
Honestly, they never looked that clear. Mm-hmm. You know, I always thought the Kellogg's ones looked funny but pretty cool, that you could see a player in the foreground and then there's something kind of in the background.
Right.
And of course, to me, the game changer or breaker was when Upper Deck came out with I think it was in 90 maybe, where they first had the hologram.
Oh, right, the hologram. I mean, I was going to say, this is kind of the precursor to Sportflix in a way, like their thing with like the 2 or 3, whatever.
Yeah.
Images, excuse me.
And we had talked about, like, I never really got into Sportflix for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I bought some, but never really was a big deal to me. Like, it was just another thing to buy. Honestly. Like, oh, more cards? Sure, why not?
And I think there's something magical about the fact that we both were already buying a Slurpee anyways.
Right.
And so then we get a free disc with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I wonder how much I was buying Slurpees before I got these. Like, I don't know if I was buying that much, but this became a definite motivator to do so.
Oh, and the other one that we haven't mentioned is I used to go to Denny's a lot to get the Grand Slam breakfast, and then you would get the hologram. And I know those were very highly sought after at the time.
Yeah, no Denny's in Hawaii, so at least that I'm aware of it at that age. There might be now, but there weren't then. And I did go in college, but I wasn't collecting while I was in college, so I didn't think about that part of it. Because I think that's right when I was in college they started to have those things, like early 90s or something.
Yes, early 90s.
Yeah,
maybe late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that was prime college period for me. So but I definitely did go to Denny's a few times in Boulder. So.
You wanted to make an announcement.
Yeah, no, I did. So I am currently working on and will soon be launching a newsletter that is related to cards. So I will, I'll put it probably in the community section of our channel when I launch it. But it should be coming out, I'm hoping on Monday, we'll see. But I'm hoping to do it every week. On Mondays, ideally, maybe more often than once a week at some point. But starting slow and building up, because work, family, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. But cards is always somewhere in the back of our brains.
Yes. And I've been wanting to, I am a writer by trade and, in editorial. And so I wanted to kind of scratch that itch again. And so, with regards to cards. And so, looking forward to that as well. So I will give more information when I actually launch. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, that's kind of it.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.